Hey everyone, Rich from Rich CCG Bets. Hopefully you all are having a great day. I wanted to talk about 5 things that I personally, and this is me as a collector slash investor, not a player, so that I think that Ravensburger needs to do to make Lorcana a lot more investable in the future. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. At number 1 is to create an online client. You take a look at Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's released around this time last year. I want to say it was like the end of October or beginning of November. I think it was October. They made $1.2 billion in their first year of revenue. And it's not like the game itself, I play the game periodically. It's not like the game itself has a ton of like pay to win aspect to it either. It's just, it gets people playing the game, and it's a lot of fun to do. And what we saw with the release of Pokemon TCG Pocket is the market of Pokemon TCG in general just explode. You can say it's not correlation or causation or anything like that, and I'm with you partially, but around the time of the game coming out is basically the exact same time the market blew up. We saw Surging Sparks come out, and that start to exceed MSRP, which was something that hadn't happened for a booster box anywhere near the first year of release in several years. And then it just absolutely take off from there. And so I think some sort of online client that will allow people to play the game, be familiar with what it is, and maybe people just don't really know what it is, but are more inclined to play a game on their phone. That's how I was, at least with Pokemon. I still haven't played the game in real life, the actual TCG, but I do have a deck, so like I'm almost there. But this would make people want to actually go out there, open packs, collect the cards, start playing themselves. And with that, more players equals more collectors equal more memories of ripping packs, playing the game. And these memories bring in nostalgia 5-10 years from now, which will make these sets a lot more investable in the future. The number 2 thing that I think Lorcana needs to do is, and this is actually pretty controversial, increase pull rates. And by increase, I mean make pull rates a little bit easier. So we currently don't know what the pull rates are for, I'm just going to say enchanteds, because the iconics are just so hard to pull, and they're so new that we still don't have like a good grasp. But as far as enchanteds go, a lot of people say it's around 1 in 96, meaning for every 96 packs you open, you should get an enchanted. And the reason people say 96 is because a booster box is 24 packs. 4 booster boxes come in a case. That equates to 96 packs. And usually, if you open up a case of Lorcana, you will get an enchanted. Unfortunately, I've been on the wrong side of this. As someone who has opened up 2 cases myself, one had an enchanted, the other one did not. And it hurt. And I see a lot of posts on Reddit of people saying, like, I opened an entire booster box case and I didn't get an enchanted, and I feel depressed. And I'm with you. When I opened that case and didn't get an enchanted, I told myself, I'm done ripping for enchanteds. I'm not going to do it anymore. And that was at the release of Rain of Jafar, and we're basically 2 sets from that point. That was at the end of May. So May to June, July, August, September, October, November. I haven't ripped Lorcana in just over 5 months, five and a half months, which is kind of sad to think about it. But for me, it's not worth it when buying a booster box case is your best chance of ripping, of like trying to guarantee an enchanted, and it's still not being a guaranteed way to do that. Cases are going for, you could get them as low as $400 for the longest time a case, about 100 per box, but prices are going up for Lorcana because of the hype around Fabled. And so like $500 is probably where you're going to be getting a case at this point in time, with pre-release still around and just shortly after release. If we take a look at Pokemon started with 1 in 3. You could get a holo, and holos were super simple, but I think if you were to guarantee like 1 to 2, so like maybe have it be like 1 in 75 packs, or what's 24 times 3, 48, 72. So 1 in 72 packs being enchanted, meaning you could open a case and get 122. I think that will make people want to open cases and booster boxes a lot more. And yeah, specifically booster boxes, because like you go from a 1 in 4 chance to like a 1 in 3 chance of opening like a random booster box and getting it enchanted. So if you're able to pull these enchanteds more often, it's going to increase the kind of like overall experience you have ripping the packs, and you are going to be more inclined to rip Lorcana than you currently are at this stage. If you're liking this content so far, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Again, leave a comment on your thoughts. I'm curious what you think will increase their investability, or am I totally just thinking about this the wrong way? You can let me know too. But at number 3, I have bring in more popular IPs. So I think they're doing a good job overall. There's a lot of princesses that we see for Enchanteds for. Mickey and Friends is right behind Pokemon for the most popular IP. But there's still so much more that we can do. 2026 is going to be a great year because we know they are going to be introducing Pixar, with Woody and Buzz kind of already being leaked, not leaked, teased. That's the better word I want to use. It's already being teased, but I want to make sure that they are just not just doing Toy Story and that's it. But there's Cars that's incredibly popular from Pixar. Me personally, I love Inside Out. I know some people don't agree with me, but I think Inside Out is one of the best. Coco is great. There's so many different movies. Finding Nemo, gosh, how could I forget that? That you could do so much with those Pixar sets. But there's some, like, of the original 2D ones that were missing, like Pocahontas, Tarzan, Nightmare Before Christmas. I see so many people screaming that this time every year of like, when Whispers of the Wells was told like 6-7 months ago, there was speculation of like, hey, this is releasing just after Halloween. I wonder if we're gonna finally see Nightmare Before Christmas. Imagine if we had a Jack Skellington and Sally iconic instead of the Ariel and Hades. How cool that would have been. Also, like, we don't have any Moana enchanteds, no like Pinocchio or Jiminy Cricket enchanteds. Like, there's just so many things that they're doing well as far as the art goes and like their choices. But then like at the same time, you're leaving so much on the table, and not just with movies and not just with Pixar, TV shows. I know they just did Gargoyles, but who cares? I think that show sucked. Personally, I didn't like it as a kid. But there's like Phineas and Ferb, I never saw, but I know is incredibly popular. There's Kim Possible. If you want to throw in like Recess, I think that was ABC Family technically, but Disney owns ABC. So like there's a lot of, you can pull from the TV side of it as well too for Disney. So yeah, there's a lot that Lorcana can play from, and I think they're trying to not be super risky and playing for the general public of basically there's like a Mickey and Friends in every set, and there's like a Disney princess chase in every set for the most part, and I get that, but like I think it's time to branch out and try to swing, because it's better to swing and miss than not swing at all, right? Suggestion number 4, and it kind of goes along with this. Let's have some better set themes. When I think of Pokemon, some of the best sets are like the specialty sets. You have like the Fates sets, so like the Hidden Fates, Paldean Fates. I forget the one Paldean before Paldean Fates, Shiny Fates. I think it was just Shiny Fates. I don't know. But they had the gimmick of you would pull shiny Pokemon cards, which are pretty cool. You have 151 that was just released a couple years ago, which was a throwback to the original 151 Pokemon. Prismatic Evolutions for the Eevee and the Evolutions. Celebrations, which was like commemorating 25 years of the Pokemon TCG. Crown Zenith, which was like the Sword and Shield finale. Like you get the point. I think that Lorcana could do something similar. Imagine like if they had a specialty set or just like a random set that was just like princess themed. Every single enchanted that you pull is a princess. You've got like Ariel, Jasmine, Elsa, Anna, Rapunzel, Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, or Snow White. Sleeping Beauty is Aurora. Belle, like you get the point. But like imagine if that was like the theme and you got all these princess cards. Like so many people would want these amazing like illustrations of the Disney princesses. Or if you had like a Mickey and Friends set, I guess we just had Mickey and Minnie as the iconic, but you could have like Walt be the iconic. I don't know. Or like a Disneyland or Disney World like theme. Like I know people don't like the location Enchanted. I don't either, especially since the card is like sideways. But like imagine if there was like an Adventureland or Fantasyland Enchanted, or you had rides like Space Mountain, Matterhorn, Rise of the Resistance, It's a Small World, you know? Or even like you had some like item cards that were like the food. So like Dole Whip or I don't know, like a churro, a turkey leg, something that's like so tied to Disney that any like big Disney fan, even like small Disney fan, could like see a card and like know like, oh, that's Disney World or that's Disneyland based on like the food or ride or anything like that. I think those would be such fun sets to open. And I know probably not the most playable cards, but those are the kind of sets that people would love to open at the time of release 5 years from now, and in the future. And those kind of sets would be the most investable for sure. And I think like really enjoyable. Like again, I'm not thinking in the lens of a player. Location cards, like I said, are not great because they're just really not that playable, like a lot of them, or like necessary. But love to freaking collect I guess it's not Splash Mountain anymore. Tiana's Bayou River Ride or something like that. Or Thunder Mountain or Haunted Mansion or something like that. Like those cards would be so cool. And last but not least, the fifth thing that I think that they should do is to make iconic cards like look more iconic. I think the Mickey and Minnie were great. They were kind of gold. They had that gold hue to it, and they had connected arts. I thought that was the template they were going to go forward with and then improve on. Whispers and Wells came out, and then you got Ariel and Hades, like two different movies. The arts didn't look great, and really, if you think about the iconic cards, they were kind of goldish for Fabled, and so no one ever thought of that. But then when you look at Ariel and Hades, it's just like the logo at the bottom of the card and like the square text around like their ability. Like that's the only difference between an enchanted and iconic. And I think there needs to be a lot more of a difference. So first off, I think you need to have a lot more popular cards, or nothing against Ariel. I love Ariel. Like have an Ariel and Eric, or like Ariel and Sebastian. Something that makes a lot more sense, like the Mickey and Minnie, or like have connecting arts. If you're going to have two different characters from two different movies, like make their art make sense. The other thing that you can do is you could have kind of what they've been doing with Pokemon recently in Black White or Black Bolt White Flare. They had like the all black card or all silver card or all red card. Recently they've had like the full gold cards. Something like that for iconics, I think would just make them even more special and like a lot more desirable for the chase. Nothing gets the art. I think the art is great for Mickey and Minnie. The other ones seem a little bit lazy, if I'm going to be honest, and not really much different from Enchanteds. But if you had like more iconic looking iconics, that's going to bring in a lot more people to chase these cards. When Fabled came out, I saw a lot of people on YouTube that were from the Pokemon side of things, maybe like not even in the TCG at all, opening Fabled because there's a chance that they could pull $1,000+ Mickey card, and everyone loves Mickey and everyone loves expensive cards. And that made it really exciting. And in the future, people are going to want to go back and try to pull that same thing. With Evolving Skies, you have the Umbreon, which we know is so stupid to open an Evolving Skies booster box or an Evolving Skies booster packs, but there's always that chance of pulling a $2,000 card. And that's what's going to get people to come back. And so having something like that with the Mickey and Minnie, but keeping the iconics looking great, like connecting arts and high profile characters. Like the minute we see an Elsa iconic, those boxes are going to be going for like 200 a box, just because people are going to want to pull an Elsa iconic. Or I know Stitch is really popular. You get the point. But I think if Lorcana can do those 5 things, even if they can just do like 2 or 3 of those 5 things, I think that's going to be a huge leap for the investing side and collecting side of Lorcana and getting a lot more people to want to open Lorcana. Let me know your thoughts. That's all I got for you. I'll see you guys in the next video.